Welcome to the Visitors Section. Visitors Section.
Thanks, Brian. That was seamless. Hey, everybody, welcome to, as the song alluded to, the Visitors Section. We've been bi-coastal, we've been tri-coastal, and I think we've been abroad. We've took some time off to reassess and reevaluate our meaning of life, and I've come up with absolutely no conclusions, and we are basically walking around being mindless zombies and watching mindless zombies with terrible CGI graphics. This is your host, Josh Hastings, alongside me. Is like I always say, and always beside me, yet he's always in front of me in some weird way. Mike Irwin.
Trying to touch you. I'm trying to literally touch you, but my arms aren't long enough.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd first like to throw this out there. We haven't been on air for a couple weeks. I've appreciated the fact that people have been reaching out to us to find out why. Sometimes we need a vacation. I found myself in Vegas. Some of you may have caught that or may not have caught that. That was quite a trip. Quite a trip. I don't know. Have you ever been there, Josh?
No.
Okay.
Never. I don't care for those kinds of places.
Yeah, it depends on what your cup of candy is. I think that if you really like expensive shopping, if you really like malls, you might like Vegas. I kind of didn't. It was.
I'm not really surprised.
If there was one word that I could use to describe Vegas, just from, I don't know, like you could bookend the trip from beginning to the end. And as the trip went on, I heard more and more random people say the same word to describe their time in Vegas, and that is disappointment. It's something like you feel like you need to do. Like I thought at some point in my life I'd actually live there. I love sports. I love all the action that goes around sports. Vegas is a really exciting place to be if you're into sports. But outside of that, like there's not a lot for you. Like if you really like stuff you can't afford, if you really like having your money taken by slot machines, or at least mildly usable like public transportation, Vegas is an okay town. Otherwise,
and plus apparently it is a free ticket to do whatever the hell you want. Apparently they say, the whole adage is what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, right?
See, when they say that, what they really are saying is, please don't talk.
Unless you get crabs or some sort of really horrendous STD, you're bringing that shit back home. and not only that, maybe you're going to bring home an empty bank account. I'm thinking that's what's going to happen.
And that's really what they're getting at when they say what stays in Vegas. Whatever happens in Vegas
stays in Vegas, yeah, because you lost all your money.
You lost all your money, so that's going to stay in Vegas. The other thing that's going to happen is they really don't want you to talk about how disappointed you were.
No.
If you talk about it, then people won't go there.
All of a sudden, I imagine a black van with basically no windows. The door slides open. You get bagged and grabbed, as they like to call it in the business. In the business, of bagging and grabbing people and taking them away. But go on. That's in my head. I don't know why.
No, I think that's completely fair. We saw that happen at least no fewer than 5 times while we were there. Part of that is that everything's a timeshare. Like, they trick you. You want tickets to a show? Hey, I can get you tickets to a show. All you got to do is sit through this 90-minute presentation. So it's everything's got a gimmick. Everything is a hustle. And there's something about that is, to me, just awful. Like, I don't like to barter for stuff. I don't like the dance back and forth. I just want to know how much shit costs, and then I want to pay that, and then I want you to give it to me. I don't want it to be like, well, this is free. Well, okay, it's not free. I'm going to take no fewer than 3 hours of your life. I'm going to take those, and then I'm going to give you these $20 tickets to whatever.
Right.
I'll give you a ticket to go eat a buffet that will make you ill. It says right on the ticket, will make you ill. But hey, it's free food. I took 3 hours of your life. You owe me this. There's a lot of that going on. We went to the Pawn Stars pawn shop.
You did?
Walked like forever, like 2.5 miles through the bad part of Vegas, which is actually the part of Vegas we probably should have stayed in. It's just a gift shop.
It's not actually a pawn shop. It is a huge gift shop now.
They basically have
stuff that they want to sell.
Yeah, they have like
their own merchandise.
2 rows of like rings and like bracelets and stuff, and then it goes, I heart chum everything. If you want, I can walk into the kitchen area. I don't know if you saw it when I came into the studio today, but I brought our I heart chum Lee coffee mug.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it makes sense that America makes him famous, because nothing's better than to have the I Heart Chumlee mug or shirt that you purchased, because he's a he's everything that everybody wants to laugh at, fat and stupid. I mean, and I think that's pretty much what it's saying, is like America wants to feel good about themselves, so. I'm not excluding myself, Mike, from America at all. No, I am a part of this. We like to make fun of fat, stupid people. I mean, look at Family Guy, for crying out loud. I mean, that is the biggest, fattest, stupid moron ever, and he's a caricature of all the fat, stupid people in the world, almost, probably. Wouldn't you say that that's a good assessment?
I think that's fair.
How America loves to make stupid morons, fat, stupid morons, famous.
I think it speaks volumes to what's on TV. I think it's really not that. That's kind of what people think of as Americans sometimes.
Yeah,
fat, happy, stupid people.
I mean, I the other day I said fat, and a person got upset that I said fat. I said, what? I can't say fat? They're like, what do you mean? That's so offensive. And I'm like, what? Fat is offensive?
Well,
yeah, I'm like, well, shit.
I was watching the news today.
You fat fuck.
We went through several trainings. We've signed the paperwork. It was part of the deal on getting on air on this station, right?
Okay, yeah.
That we had to go through Warren Moon sensitivity training. We've gone through it 2 years now, and passenger van training. We've gone through it 2 years.
Yeah.
Our signatures are on that piece of paper, and you have to know that when we say things, there's a strong likelihood that someone's going to take offense, and that's unfortunate. It does happen, and it's uncomfortable when it does happen. Like today, I was watching the news. Obama has this big push for kids to get out and play, run around, do things that kids used to do. They made a stamp set, because when people are looking for inspiration, they go to the post office, they buy these stamps, right? And it's basically like 12 pictures of kids doing stuff. There's like running, jumping, swinging, whatever.
Yeah.
And then there's like 3. There's a kid who's skateboarding and he doesn't have knee pads on. There's a guy doing a headstand who doesn't have a helmet on.
Well, he didn't have a helmet on? There's handstands in America with no helmets?
I don't know how it got. I don't know how it got through their
Mike,
checks and balances.
This is insane.
It is, and luckily people took incredible offense to this, as they should have. They
should have been outraged.
And I think that they were, because they pulled those stamps. The whole run, they said, these stamps aren't going out. These 3 stamps, no. We take these, we're going to save some children, throw them away.
So let me get this straight. A broken, already basically a bankrupt government program called the Postal Service already wasted more money on stamps, because people, these imaginary offended people, decided to say, this man is doing a handstand without a fucking helmet on. We can't have that. Cannot have it.
Well, I started thinking about it, and I was like, man, that is crazy. Like, first of all, I can't do a handstand. I've never been able to do one. but I've never tried to wear a helmet, and maybe that's where I was going wrong, and maybe they're actually saving lives. I don't know.
I don't know any kids that are doing handstands, Mike. Like I'm walking down the street, going to pick up my daughter from school. Look at that kid, he's doing a fucking handstand.
Well, and that's
Holy shit.
And I think that's what the stamps were supposed to address. They were supposed to bring people back on board and say, hey, look, running, jumping, headstands, do them.
Right. Like, my mailman better be doing all those things as he's delivering the mail. I'm riding a bike, swimming, skateboarding. And he better have all prescribed safety. Mother of God. What is this? What is this, Mike? What world am I living in?
It's called
I
America,
don't understand it anymore.
It's America.
I mean, oh, it's America. Yeah, it's shut down. We cannot function.
Well, it was weird though, because to bring it back to Vegas, Vegas was weird because Vegas was like, in a way, it was the city of sin. Like, if you wanted to go to Walgreens at 9 in the morning and buy hard liquor, oh, you can do that. That's not a problem. You can walk around with a beer in your hand anywhere you want. Like, no one's gonna stop you. I saw almost no police, like 0 police.
It's easy to rob and do things when there's no cops.
Yeah, but the thing was, like, so you have all this sin. Like, you've got just armies of people, some homeless, some not homeless, some minimum wage workers, handing you cards of naked ladies. Like, here, call a prostitute. Here, call a prostitute. Like, here's one for you. Like, you're with your family. Like, you're walking down with your girlfriend. They're, like, taking them and putting them in your hand. And
Here,
like,
we know you have a girlfriend, but you need to call a prostitute to make things better.
And so you have beer, liquor, prostitutes, everything that you can think of is all right there, and it's absolutely everywhere. Like, it never stops. Like, like I say, there's a Walgreens, there's a McDonald's, and then there's like, bam, like more of this, and it just keeps going, like, for miles and miles and miles. And at some point, it's almost overwhelming. Like, there's no more novelty. It's just like, no, sir, I'm okay. I don't need your hand, like your deck prostitutes tonight. Like, just get out. Like, after about 30 minutes, that softness that you brought into Vegas is just completely rotten. Like, you're just like, I don't care anymore. Like, just...
The only thing that I've, other than you talking about Vegas, is these people that live underneath Vegas. And this is a real thing. I heard it on just an audio documentary. Is it a documentary at that point? I don't know. So anyway, they interviewed these people that live underneath Vegas in their aqueduct system, and they have like curtains that separate their houses because the market took a shit all over. I mean, it's literally just the market opened up its butthole and went all over it, and so they get to live underneath Vegas, and they say it's kind of, they get up, they iron their stuff, and they go out into town. They want to look presentable, not homeless, and they get a lot of free shit. And I don't, hey, more power to you. You get free food. If you let's say you scrounge up enough money, you go gamble, and you win, you get to move on. If not, you get a free, you get free drinks out of it. And I'm not making this shit up. You guys can look this up, Google it. I mean, sure, we live in the Google age and smartphone. We live in the smartphone age where everybody's got instant intelligence at their fingertips. So.
Yeah, I mean, it was a weird place. I'll probably just leave it at that. I don't think the idea of being able to gamble on sports was a cool one.
Did you do it?
I didn't. It was honestly the only thing I thought I'd actually make money at, and just didn't want to make my girlfriend sit there for 4 hours while I watched the score come up.
Right, because that's what we would do.
Yeah, we just hang out in the books and just go from there. I mean,
well, I just spent just spent a couple bills on something. I'm gonna sit down and watch the shit.
Yeah, this Bills is. I didn't have too many of those when I went there. So I think Vegas, maybe if you have a lot of disposable income. When I say disposable, meaning that you don't care if someone was to take that money from you and light it on fire in front of you. You need that kind of money to really enjoy Vegas. At least from my standpoint, unless you really like the dirty part of Vegas, which if I do go back, that's the part I'll go to. I want those casinos you saw in Swingers. I don't want to see these casinos that look like a giant mall that I just happen to walk in that has like slot machines everywhere.
You mean like the ones here?
Yes. Yes, Indian casinos are my only good experience with casinos.
Whoa, Mike. Indian casinos?
I know. I'm sorry. It's Columbus Day. I
It
should
is
think better.
Columbus Day, and
Native American Kiowa casino.
biggest, the biggest hoax of them all.
I've won more money at those Kiowa Nation casinos than I won in Vegas, hands down.
More money. What would be entertaining is if you won them on Columbus Day. It's kind of like you're putting your thumb in Columbus's face. Man, look at me.
Thanks for finding America.
Thanks for not really finding America, because it was those damn Norwegians. But whatever.
Whatever. Thanks, Columbus, for doing all those terrible things, but doing a couple crazy cool things, but doing all those terrible things.
Thanks, Spain, for rewriting the history books. Woohoo!
Sorry, I'm sick. If anyone can tell.
Yeah, he's sick, speaking of fuck it. Speaking of Indians, the Redskins name has really been hammering the shit out of everybody's daily conversation, daily fucking Twitter line, whatever, twatter line, and it's just, it gets to the point where I'm like, well, I kind of want to see it change, so everybody shut the hell up, because it pisses off so many people on both sides. And really, we haven't really tackled this, and we've always talked about tackling this, and we see it coming. We see the ever-changing landscape of, it's not so much pussy, it's not even that. It's like, to me, my whole life, I've never heard it used as a racial slur. It doesn't mean that it's not, but it doesn't, I'm not a moron to say that it never was, but to me, I feel like words can change, but you're on this slippery slope with the race skins, and where you could go with that is a lot of weird things. Mike, what do you take of this? Bob Costas went on air last night because he has the biggest voice. He now has everybody in America looking at him. Because everybody watches football. If nobody understands, let me just put it to you like this: Major League Baseball playoffs are going on, and one of their games was their ratings was the equivalent to the NFL draft. That's how much people care more about football than baseball, and that's how many basically viewers Bob Costas gets to have. And just like the gun, remember there was the gun control debate. He decides to come on, and I feel like at this point if we're on a roller coaster, we're now on the descending end of this. When Bob Costa starts to chime in on things, we are now on the descent. Yep. Cabin pressure was at 0 a couple of weeks ago. Now we're on the decline.
So you're saying here's the shark.
Yeah.
Bob Costas.
Bob Costas is now over it, and or maybe he's riding the shark.
He's just. Yeah. He's hovering above the shark as he jumps over it. Yeah.
So, do I think they should change it? I don't know. I'm not going to sit here. I can't make that call. I cannot make that call, and I'm never going to.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
We grew up in Oklahoma. We've never called anybody. It's almost laughable. It is really almost laughable if you ever heard somebody call somebody a redskin. And instantly you think, well, damn, does he like the skins? I know they suck, but
well, it's kind of hard because we, like you say, grew up in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
For people outside of Oklahoma, other states have different interactions with native tribes. In Oklahoma, the way it works is here's a block. This is just like everybody block, and this is Indian land, and here's another block, and then there's another block, and it's Indian land. It's on top of each other. It's just you have the same town, and from block to block can be this is Kiowa. This is Kiowa land.
Yeah.
This is Comanche land. This is Josh Hastings land. It just goes bam, 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 and so you'll have a liquor store or a smoke shop, or they'll just build a casino in a state that doesn't have the right to gamble because they have their own sovereign rules and nation. So it's kind of we're not really separated. There's not really reservations per se in Oklahoma because it's just all integrated. It's just
right.
It is what it is. But if you go to a place say like Idaho, there are reservations. It's not nice. There's a lot of tension between people who live off the reservations and clearly on them. There's a lot of fights about water rights and stuff like that, and so there's a lot more tension there. So for us, I think it is kind of hard to be like, what's the big deal? Because I mean, literally, like I had friends that are Native American. I still have friends that are Native American. I grew up with Native American kids. Like, didn't she work at the Indian hospital? Like it's, it is what it is. It's like just part of our normal life. I could also see how it could be kind of hurtful. Like if you were to take offense to that word, there's literally a team called that, and it's in America's most popular sport. But at the same side of that coin is that there's the Braves, there's the Seminoles, there's all these other.
There's the Indians.
Yeah, there's all these somewhat derogatory terms. Some of them are, and it's just like, what is too much? Going in, going out.
What I don't understand is we're screaming for name change of the Washington Redskins, but we're okay with the Chief Wahoo in Cleveland. It's like, where are we coming out on this? If you were going all in, you got to include every little thing to me. It's either all or nothing. You can't have it both ways, people. You can't get your non-offensive both ways, because to me, I feel like the Redskins logo is more respectful to Native Americans than Chief Wahoo.
Yeah, I mean, you literally have another NFL team called the Chiefs. Like, I mean, it's probably not enough to say like, what is and what isn't, but clearly there's people who are upset about it.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I don't know where I come down on it. I think that
the easiest argument is always like, and it's always that, well, what about the Fighting Irish? Or what about this? What about this name? What are Yankees now offensive? I mean, we're like, okay, dude, all right. It's all that is as far as the other way as some like to say. What if they were the Blackskins? I'm like, well, they're not. They're not the Blackskins, so you can't say that. Just like we can't say Fighting Irish is offensive because it's just not.
Well, I mean, maybe it is to some guy who's Irish who doesn't like to fight. I don't know.
These passive, non-drunk Irish guys.
Well, if we were all just the banana splits, which is probably still racist. I don't know. If we are all the Necco wafers, every team was just a different shade of Necco wafer.
Right.
Then maybe everybody would be happy. But is that the kind of world that we want to live in? Not to say that the Redskins, make the world a better place, but just in that we can't constantly just finding offense in something is not a good trait. Like you are an adult. Like if you don't like it, you have the right, you have the ability to voice up and say that you don't like it, but you can't also just go on this crusade and say like you have to change, like over something that just isn't worth it. Like if I don't care what Dan Snyder wants to call his team. Like I don't care. He'd call them the Coca-Cola Cokes. I wouldn't care. Don't care. I don't like them. I don't like the Redskins. I think they're a crappy organization. And you know what? I'm not going to buy their shirts. I'm not going to buy their sweatshirts. I don't think RG3 is a great football player. And I'm just going to keep saying it. Whoa, I'm going to say it. But I have the ability to say it. I am saying it. And that should be it, right?
That should be it to me. To me, it's like you have your opinion, I have mine, and that's where it comes out. That's it. I mean, there's nothing else to really.
Yeah, what are we gonna do? We're gonna change them to the Washington Generals, and everybody's gonna be happy.
To me, it's eventually gonna get to the Washington football team versus the Texas football team, and I'm like, fucking no logos, no nicknames.
There's Texas 1 and there's Texas 2.
There's Texas 1 and 2.
And there's New York 1 and New York 2.
Both underachieve and both lose games they probably shouldn't. And to that point.
I don't know. I don't think there's a right answer, Josh. I don't think there's a right answer.
But I just want to thank Bob Costas for killing that. It had momentum. It really did. It had momentum, and I was like, man, if this keeps going, it's going to change. Then boom, in comes Bob Costas to kill it. And apparently Twitter let him know how much of a moron he is, I guess, if he is one. My dad seems to think so. Well, there was another moron. I'm beginning to think that the sports media is really like, so there are a lot of people like sports, so a lot of media is really they're really picking up on this, Mike, and I think the most professional thing to do is really troll everybody. Just troll everybody.
Yeah, they love that. They love that.
And just say just the most outlandish shit, just so you can get people to pay attention to you. No matter if you're a young aspiring writer or a fucking old asshole named Phil Mushnick. if that's how you say his name, for the New York Post. But when I want to say that this New York Post is like, isn't the New York Post basically National Enquirer, Mike?
So go more into that. Explain to me what you're getting at.
Bill wrote an article saying, you can Google it, how much of a dick Adrian Peterson is. Sad news that his 2-year-old son was assaulted and killed. It's just very sad altogether, and I'm not trying to.
Terrible.
I don't want to even talk about it to be that on that part, because that's not. You just
want to talk about that guy's reaction.
I think that guy's reaction's like, oh, that happened, so let me write an article saying how much of a dick Adrian Peterson is because he played. And it's another thing. It all stems back. To me, it's like, you don't tell people how to grieve. You don't get to do that. Just like you don't get to tell people that they should be offended by something or they're not offended. You should be offended by the Redskin nickname, or you should not be offended by the Redskin. You can't tell people how to grieve. You can't do those things because everybody is different. And for this guy to have the biggest voice again, I write for the New York Post, I guess. If it was the Times, it would be a little bit bigger. But his article is really just ill-timed and just really just a shitty article, and I'm tired of it.
Well, I've got 4 words for you, Josh.
Okay.
Two. I got a lot of words. I got a ton of words.
Mm-hmm.
2 words. I'll start with Brett Favre. Brett Favre went out after his dad died and had one of the greatest games he's ever played. Now, granted, there was a lot of help that game. There were a lot of guys like jumping over people and whatever.
Right. So he's a hero.
Right, he went out and grieved by playing. That was what he did.
But he's the hero because his now that game is more important than any other guy that did the same thing that day because his dad died. And Adrian Peterson's a dick because he went and played and probably had some effects from that.
All right, here's my other 2 words. Joe Flacco. He just had a baby like 2 weeks ago. Like 2 hours before the game, he's like, I'm gonna play. If it was me, I probably wouldn't have played that day.
Really?
I mean, I don't know.
I'm playing, dude.
Would you play?
You really care?
Would I really care if my child was being born?
Well, yeah. I mean, I was there.
Yeah, I was there.
Which to me is like, why can't I do both? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey,
look,
man,
honey, I've been here. It happened. And now I'm gonna go play.
Yeah, exactly. Like, out comes the child. Mom's okay. Child's okay. I gotta go play. Why can't I do both? Why can't I do both? I think both are just as important.
Well, I think at least in Adrian Peterson's defense, it's America's changing every day.
I can't believe I just said what I meant was, of course, having your child is like tremendous, life-changing shit. Mm-hmm. But let's not blow it out of proportion here.
Look, I only play the Rams once a year, and look, you're gonna have at least more birthdays. So.
Right. We're gonna have a lot more time where you'll remember the shit because right now you're not gonna remember any of this.
Yeah, not gonna remember it.
I'm gonna ask my daughter. You remember when I was there when you were born? Do you remember that? No.
You know who's gonna remember it? She's gonna remember it, and she's never gonna let you forget it. So that's why right. you go to the hospital.
That's right. That's right. It's probably why a lot of things, but. I'm trying to debate why can't I have both, and if you said that to her, there's an argument. Your spouse or whoever significant other, like, look, I want to have both. I want to see the baby born, then I'm gone. I'm going to try to throw to Jacoby Jones and win the game.
Yeah.
That didn't happen.
Yeah, didn't happen, and even if it did happen, so you won week 5. You won week 5. Is it better? Is it better in your household now? Like,
okay, well, what if it's like the playoff game?
I think playoffs and Super Bowl.
Those do not get trumped, right, by the kid.
There was a question.
NFC Championship.
A question was raised by our friend Justin during the Super Bowl of 2009. He came up to me and he said, "Hey, what are you going to do if your kid is born on the Super Bowl?" It's a good question. Would I have played in the Super Bowl, or would I have gone to the hospital? Luckily for me, she came early.
Yeah.
And I didn't have to cross that bridge.
Well, can't you just ring up the doc? Hey, delay that shit until it's over.
Wrap it up.
I mean, we've got the ability to induce labor.
Yeah.
Let's drag this shit out.
Yeah, at that point, we'd already done 45 hours. I don't think she would have really wanted to hang out in a hospital anymore. But
look, ladies, you got to start pooping these kids out faster than that. I mean, this is
Super Bowl.
That's a long time.
It was incredibly long.
Quit playing around. Let's
talk some football.
Because the interesting things that came out of yesterday's games, and we can go back. Look at the Jets. They won some games they should have not have won, and they lost some games they probably should not have lost.
Mm-hmm.
Nonetheless, that I've come to the conclusion that no, the Jets are not ascending, and they're not really descending, and they weren't really as bad as what everybody wants. They were going to be 0-16. Clearly not the case. Are they going to go undefeated into the playoffs? Clearly not the case. So I mean, it is what it is, man. And these next couple games for the Jets are going to be telling. There's really nothing much to say. They're probably going to beat a team that everybody's going to be like, wow, they beat them. Maybe the Patriots. I don't know. And a nice segue to the Patriots was that New Orleans game. Mike, did you watch it?
No.
You didn't watch that game?
I don't believe in Tom Brady.
You better believe.
No, I don't. I don't watch him. I only watch him when he plays the Jets. That's the only time I watch Tom Brady.
Yeah, well, this dude. All I gotta say is this, Mike. Rob Ryan. That's it. That's what happened. Prevent defense and Rob Ryan. Beautiful.
And
then the defensive player throws him out of bounds instead of like tackling him in bounds. Like, what are you doing? They have no timeouts. But at the end of the day, the Saints are still in good shape. They're 5-1. They're still in good shape. It wasn't like a divisional game. I don't even think they have to worry about that divisional game. I
think they've already clinched a playoff spot. Like they're just resting guys until the end of the season at this point. Like
the sad part is they came out of there without Jimmy Graham nicked up.
Mm-hmm.
Their defense is still better than what it was last year, and they're still in a better position than they were last year. I mean, you have the Buccaneers who are horrendous. You have the Atlanta Falcons who are pretty much closing up shop. Julio Jones is injured. They're like, forget it. Just forget it. That whole Steven Jackson thing, just forget we even said anything. I mean, how absurd was it when people were actually entertaining the Tony Gonzalez to Kansas City trade? Like, that's not going to happen. Why did it was so much uproar about it that Mortensen had to go confirm it. It was so much crap and buildup that they had to go confirm it, and both GMs were like, this shit ain't going to happen. Why? Who brought this up? Who brought this shit up?
It's not happening. He's not coming back here. He won't come here. We called him. He said, no, I'm not coming there.
Yeah. I mean, I know Andy Reid likes him. I mean, the guy's a Hall of Famer. He's a Hall of Famer. Playing the game right now. I mean, I get it, but that's a stupid question. It's just stupid. But the Denver-Jacksonville game, Mike, one could say that, look at that. The spread was ridiculous, and apparently nobody was taking money on that game at all. I think you had to spend $1 or you had to spend $30 just to get $1. Or some crazy shit, because it's all about the betting, and then that shit made its way into the game, like it mattered. Like that shit really doesn't matter to Denver. They were leading at halftime and they won the game. It really doesn't matter. But here's Jacksonville, who tries to show like some gleam of hope, going in for it on 4th downs. Fuck it. Like out of their, at their 20. Who gives a shit? Nobody likes us. Nobody respects us. And the glaring problem with Denver is their defense and their secondary. More specifically, you got an aging Champ Bailey. You got no Von Miller, but even if Von Miller comes back, I don't know. I don't know what you got going there. But obviously, the weakness in Denver's the defense, and if you can get to Peyton Manning, I think you have a fighter's chance. And to say that Jacksonville was a threat in this game is a joke. They weren't even. I mean,
I was listening. First of all, Jacksonville covered the spread. What, like 24 or something by the time?
28.
20 billion points, and they covered it like they should have, like any NFL team.
Like
should cover.
that's how it should be. And what pisses me off is when I'm saying this is a huge spread. I'm gonna, you know what I mean? Like, no, this should never happen. It always happens.
That's because people want to bet straight up on Denver. Like that's what they want to do, and they can't. Like the bookies. I mean, because Denver's winning games. Like it's like free money for people at home. But
yeah,
I wouldn't do it. I don't know. I can't wait till Denver isn't Denver anymore. I keep thinking that at some point they're all going to realize they're 95 years old. They're going to go home for a nap, and they're going to forget the game happened. And it's just it hasn't happened yet. I don't know if it's not cold enough or what.
If Denver was to sleepwalk through a game, it would have been this one. It's the perfect game to just show up and go through the motions. It's like this is the perfect game against the Jags. If there's a game you can sleepwalk through and just kind of make it happen, win barely paying attention, that's the game to do it in.
Yeah, but I always have this thing. Like you want to be at least 8-8. I'm sorry, 8-8. You want to be at least 4-4 at the halfway point, right?
Yeah.
I don't like teams that get hot for the first 8 weeks. I don't want to see a team. I mean, you can get into the playoffs by literally winning all of the first 8 games, right?
Yeah.
But then you still have to play another 8 games, and then that's really what matters. It's about getting hot at the right time. I don't think that Denver is going to go 16-0. I don't think it's going to happen.
No.
It shouldn't happen.
14-2, maybe a 15-1, and that's conceivable.
10-6.
10-6.
10-6.
Come on.
Out in the second round.
Oh my gosh. The Chiefs might have a. Honestly, I feel like the Chiefs' weakness plays into the Denver strength. You know what I mean? There's no downfield game at all. Alex Smith just checks. He's the check down god, man. We're going to be watching Alex Smith checking down for like 40 more years. He's going to be like 80 years old out there still checking down. It's ridiculous.
It's clearly better than what they had. Like
if Tebow ever wanted to like mold himself after somebody, it's Alex Smith. He should have done that, but he didn't.
I'm glad that you brought Florida football up.
Oh, yeah?
I'm going to transition to something we weren't planning to talk about.
Probably not.
For a little bit.
Okay.
I don't know who left their child in. I don't know. Brian doesn't have kids, right?
I don't know if Brian finds people to have sex with him.
Yeah, well, there's a child running through the studio. I don't know if you saw me trying to address said child moments ago. Okay, so teamwork. Have you ever been on a team where there was a person who didn't pull their weight at a specific time? Like
all the time. I mean, I think that's going in. Anything you do that is a group dynamic, there are people that already fills the roles of that one that you just brought up of never pulling. There's always that person that's like they're there but they don't really do anything because they have no skills or life at all.
Let me give you an example. Okay. Florida playing LSU.
Okay.
Yeah, Florida hasn't played that well. They haven't played that poorly. They just never really got going.
Right.
Down by about 2 scores. There's about 5 or 6 minutes left in the game. Driving the ball. Having a lot of trouble with pass protection. Get down in reasonable scoring position, like I don't like the 25. Your left tackle, false start. Your left tackle, false start again. Your left tackle blows his assignment, goes for sack, and on 4th down, your left tackle misses his block again, sack. Pretty much into the game. I mean, LSU was able to run the clock out at that point.
So you're saying like there's one guy.
There's like one guy who he had 4 bad moments in that game. I'm sure he probably had more. I saw him have 4 bad moments, and he had 4 of them all in a row. If you're the team, how do you go forward with that guy? I mean, it's not like they're going to be like, sorry, son, you're not allowed to read at Florida anymore. You got to go somewhere else. Like, it's not the pros. But
well, gladly, Florida is 4-2 and only 3-1 in SEC play. And the ones out of the SEC East are the Mizzou. I mean, what? What planet are we on? How the hell did they end up in the SEC East anyway? Great geography there down in the
Perfect sense
Southeastern
to me.
Conference. Yeah, it makes sense. We got to even it out, Josh. We got to even it out.
Numbers didn't work.
Yeah. Don't move Kentucky over there because they're right above Tennessee. But whatever. If you got a guy that don't pull their weight, you just got to let him go, right? You gotta cut him out. You got to come loose.
Oh, sorry, son. It's been real. Thanks for reading.
Yeah. I mean, it's like in Zombie World. If people don't pull their weight, they're gonna get crushed, and zombies are gonna fall in from the ceiling and eat them.
That's fair. I like to think of those things. They usually take care of themselves, right?
Yeah, that usually does.
But at some point, how is a team going forward? How do you fix that? How do you rally around that guy and you say, hey, you had a bad moment. You had 4 bad moments, really bad moments. Saw them on TV. Yeah. Everybody saw them. They're not good.
Mm-hmm.
Or do you just say, let's just find somebody else?
Well, it's probably going to come down to there's nobody else behind him. And there's no swing man. There's going to be no swing, lineman that fills in those roles for them whenever they get hurt. So I think they'll just go ahead and move forward with the mediocre play. I mean, it's like the law of averages. Yeah, he's had bad games, but he's had good games, I guess.
But generally, he's a 70, and all I've got are 44s.
If you could look at it like that, yeah.
He's still a 70.
You're still going to play that guy.
You're still going to play that guy. All right.
And then, speaking of Mizzou, they went against Georgia, who was broken. I mean, they have nobody left. I think they grabbed a guy out of the stands to play wide receiver. He doesn't no idea what the playbook is. And they said, look, you just run this stick, and then you bend the stick, and you go right to that yellow line, and that's what you do. That's what you do. A lot of SEC play. Other than that, the OU-Texas game, one of the greatest, probably, if not the greatest, rivalry atmospheres to be at, at the Texas State Fair, Cotton Bowl. Oklahoma decided not to show up, and I think it's mostly a guy that doesn't pull his weight, like you're talking about, is maybe a Blake Bell. Maybe at this point, I know it's so tough.
Are you sure it's not Bob Stoops in games that matter?
Well, I mean,
now granted, he can't literally force Blake Bell to throw the ball. I
think that the Big Game Bob and the opposite, the anti-Big Game Bob lately, it's really what it boils down to is I don't know how much the coach can do versus what players are there, and what, like you said, he can't force Blake Bell to throw an accurate pass over 25 yards. It's just not there. It's just not there. And I guess what he could do is prepare his players to show the hell up for big games, get them prepared to show up. And I guess that would be a knock against Bob Stoops. But the guy has, even let's say they lose this game, for some weird reason, they're never out of the Big 12 title hunt. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He's got a billion of those things. And who doesn't? Mac Brown doesn't have a lot of those. So, this shit, I had a feeling it was going to happen, but then again, I don't know. Texas came prepared. They completely whooped them on all aspects of the game. Special teams, offense, defense, very simple game plan. Nothing really exciting.
Mm-hmm.
It's just an ass whooping. That's what it was. If you're OU, you got to be. You have a young defense. That is a very young defense. They lost 2 key defensive guys before the game. It's a very. They're gonna be on the. This isn't the end. But to be 5-1, it's not the end of the world for a team that should not even be in discussion. And what planet are we living on where Baylor's the favorite to win the Big 12, Mike? Baylor. What the hell is going on down there?
They score 70 points a game, except Kansas State. Except against Kansas State, which they almost lose that game.
But it's the Big 12.
Yeah, it's that stellar Big 12 that everybody talks about. No,
right.
I don't know, man.
Well, I think college football in general is just you're just not. There's no scrubs anymore. There's no complete scrubs
I like that. I like that opinion. I think it's
I
very.
do.
It's true. It's true. There's no
I do.
scrubs. Zero scrub teams. No
There
scrubs.
isn't. I mean, I feel like every game
Hmm.
is a tough one. I mean, remember like Northern Illinois' Toledo game? You would think like in our day, Toledo was blowing the doors off NIU,
Hmm.
but now not so much. You know what I mean? Like there's no tough game like Iowa State versus Texas Tech.
Hmm.
In our day, Texas Tech blows the doors off Iowa State, and Iowa State's still a joke. Iowa State plays, Texas tough. Iowa State plays Texas Tech tough. So it's just one of those. There's no scrubs.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I mean, it's like that. That Idaho-Arkansas State game. I mean, in our day, Arkansas State. I don't know if that was even a school, and
Yeah, exactly. And then they came in there,
they kicked our ass.
beat the shit out of you guys.
Yeah, well, what can you do? It's just like you say, though. There's no scrubs. There's zero scrub teams.
I mean, there is, but there.
No. You said there are no scrub teams.
I just don't think there is.
Back.
I think the parity in college is huge. I think the parity is all over the place.
Like, I wouldn't say it's as pronounced as in the NFL, where it's clearly like everyone's pretty okay.
Right.
But let's talk a little bit about that, because I was watching, of course, the Idaho Arkansas State game. Now we're their homecoming game, so that's not a good sign. I was starting to think, like, there's a lot of people there. Like, there's kids, and they're partying out to Arkansas State stuff, and they're talking about their new, like, multi-million-dollar football facility they're putting in. I'm like, where the hell is this school? Like, and it made me think, like, as much as I care about Idaho, literally nobody else cares.
No.
But there's like a billion other those little schools that nobody cares about. Like, nobody.
Yeah, but other people do and put money into it.
Yeah. But I was thinking about it because I was playing that game on NCAA, trying to, like, change history in the future. I figured if I played it like 40 times, the world would their hole would open up, and the Vandals would just start throwing touchdowns through it, and we would win. And I thought, well, that'd be great.
No.
But it made me think, like, on NCAA, if you were to play 20 seasons, would those little schools get better, or would they just stay crappy?
I think law of averages is saying they stay crappy.
Yeah.
I mean,
They stay crappy.
I mean, the reason why they stay crappy is because, well, I mean, those coaches that are there it's just a step in, you know what I mean? It's a step stone. I mean, you're just going to move on. You know, they're looking to get their next paycheck, and I don't blame them. You got to start somewhere. You know what I mean? You got to start somewhere. And that's probably where all those shitty schools are. I mean, look at Wyoming. They lost to Texas State, 42-21. Right?
What happened? Was it the option? I hate their option. It's ridiculous.
I mean, but think about it. There's no scrubs. there's
zero scrubs.
There's no scrubs anymore. You don't know what you're getting, and I feel like you don't know what you're getting out of your players anymore.
Yeah, I think that's really fair. Because on NCAA.
Because to me, like, okay, whereas a powerhouse school could recruit and, like, get depth, right? Like, huge, they still do. I mean, look at Alabama. But a kid today's like, why would I want to go to that school when I can go start here? I don't have to go to these big schools to go pros. I mean, it used to be like just a guarantee that you had to go here and you're almost going to go pro, and that's not always the truth. So a lot of kids are looking at these smaller schools and saying, I can do this route, I can do this, and I can start, and I can put up numbers, and I can get attention as long as I go and jump over the box, as long as I go put up these ridiculous numbers at the combine, I'm going to be okay. As long as you don't become like Paul Bunyan, like Clowney is now. I mean, when I say Paul Bunyan, I mean, like, my God, man. Like, this guy, before the season started, he was laying down railroad ties and chopping down trees. He had a blue ox. This dude was unbelievable, and then here comes the season, and everybody's disappointed. I'm like, well, that's the beauty of football. It's a team sport, and it's not going to just be all on him.
I just wanted to point out that Danny Amendola is made of glass.
I got a text that said, Josh, if I was to make a case for injury prone, because everybody knows that I make it known that everybody is on the same scale of injury. Like, there's no, if there's a scale, everybody starts off in the same point. There's no -20 because you are, like, you're in no disposition to be that. But Danny Amendola, I have no argument. I can't say anything like to refute that, other than I'm going to say this: that there's Adrian Petersons in the world that bounce back from. There's Demaryius Thomases in the world. There's London Fletcher. I mean, the guy, Iron Man, that just play. Look at Peyton Manning. How long did he play for? So for every one of those Danny Amendolas, there's another guy that basically refutes what. But Danny Amendola, he got hit pretty hard yesterday. Obviously knocked completely out of the game. How many games does he get a year? And that's more the question I have. More like, and you bring up Percy Harvin a lot, and it's totally understandable. So there's Percy Harvin. Like, yeah, he's tweeting that he's back, but I don't know if that means anything. Because let's say he plays, and then it doesn't happen. Then what? Then you still have a bunch of terrible wide receivers up there in the Northwest.
Well, I gotta say that's been a good episode of the Visitors Section.
Yeah, I guess so. If you guys want to check us out, please follow us on Twitter. Mike will probably at some point follow you, I guess. I don't know. It's up to him, really.
We're good. We're all right. I'm sorry. Oh, there's a fire in the studio, but
there's a fire.
There's not. There's not. Just a screaming child, thanks to Brian.
That's okay.
No, I do get back to people on Twitter occasionally. Make sure that you actually hit me up at my we have the shared Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's you.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people. And then there's me over here.
Mm-hmm.
I got like 50 people. So I don't. To be fair, I don't do anything with it. Like I don't.
By the way, how are you doing in fantasy football?
Whew, doing great. Great. Can't believe I ever stopped playing this game. Wow, I am good.
No, for real.
No, not great. I was 2-1. Then I was 2-2.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I was 2-3. And I think if Trent Richardson gets me more than 14 points and their running back gets no points, I'll be 3-3. If not, I'll be 2-4. I'll tell you what I'm good at. Wide receivers. Always been good at wide receivers. So I had Julio Jones, got hurt, didn't care because I have Blackman. I don't care. I've got Gordon and I've got Cobb.
Dude, Cobb went out with injury. So
doesn't matter.
You're down to
Blackman and Gordon. Who needs?
Those are great wide receivers. Tell me you started those.
Yeah, started both of them. Did great. So, and I've got Phillip Rivers, best quarterback in the game.
Apparently.
Or Matt Stafford, and unfortunately, sometimes it's hard to choose.
He throws 4 touchdown passes. Everybody thinks he's a scrub.
Yeah, I know. So, but honestly, like, I'm not doing poorly. I'm just losing games. Yeah. So
it happens, man.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right.
You gotta win or lose races, and that's how it comes down to. I had Julio Jones, and well, he went out too. Yeah. But I have Justin Blackman. Yeah. And I have Des Bryant, and I have anyway. It doesn't matter. I don't really own those people, and it's kind of.
I'm pretty sure that you own a piece of them. I think that's how that works. It's like a timeshare.
Hey, Stanford losing to the Utes, Mike. Any thoughts on that?
I can't say enough about the University of Utah. Cannot say enough.
I mean, like, what the hell, Christmas trees? What the hell?
Come on, trash bag Christmas trees, pull it together. No,
I just had a feeling that because this is how they play. They always play down to their ability of their opponents. Dude, man, what the hell? Don't lose to Utah.
I know several, like, close friends with several Utah fans.
I know. They're great people.
They're great people. I'm so happy for you folks. I mean, honestly, I didn't want Stanford to win, so yeah, go Utah.
Well, yeah.
I don't know.
Why do we have like when we did our top 10, top 5 or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
I want to say that I'm right. like somehow it happened.
You just penciled in eight SEC team. You're just like,
Well, it was like, no, I had Clemson up there, remember?
and I told you that Taj Boyd is no good.
Oh, well, they're undefeated.
I'm telling you, he's no good.
And it's easy to do that in the ACC. It's so easy to do that.
No.
Oregon. Oregon or Oregon?
They have beautiful uniforms. You can't say anything bad about those uniforms.
You can't. You can't say anything bad about them.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, that's going to do it for us. This is Josh Hastings signing off. Mike, are we going to do this again? Everybody's asking. Yes, we're going to do it again.
Yeah, we're going to keep doing it. We've been doing it for 2.5 years. I'll keep doing it as long as I want to keep doing it. Or until they pay us not to do it. Whatever happens first.
You're going to have to pay us to not do this.
That's how that works.
Yeah. So that's going to be the Visitor Section. Thanks, everybody. Like you said, you can follow at Visitor Section. I don't know what Mike's doing with the website.
It's not there. Internet, it just, you know how there's like a monster that lives in the turf that grabs people and they fall down? Same idea. Internet turf monster just grabbed our website, just down.
You can get at me at Josh_Hastings. Don't be confused with any other ones because you're just going to have a bad time. So anyway, that's going to do it for us. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.